Hey everyone, Katie here. I'm so happy to speak with all of you. It's been a long time since I've been live, and I'm going to go live a bunch this week just because there's so many exciting things to share. So first of all, happy Easter. I hope everyone had a really wonderful Easter holiday. This has been kind of especially poignant for me just with family bereavement and also celebrating and recognizing new life and how life goes on. Believe it or not, I am going to connect this to fairies. And so that's what we're actually talking about today. I'm going to be talking to you about if fairies are okay. This is the perfect time of year to talk about this because it is spring, and it's not like fairies aren't around in all seasons. Of course they are, but in the springtime, it's a time when we are naturally kind of aware of this other realm, this other world. And I want to connect this to Easter because Easter is celebrated. This is how we calculate when Easter is celebrated. It's calculated to be the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the first day of spring. One more time. It's the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the first day of spring. So that's why we just celebrated Easter yesterday. And I love this cycling, this being part of the natural rhythm of the cosmos, of the world, of the heavens, in order to honor the resurrection of Christ and how we kind of lean into that natural world, into that new life as a guidepost for us when we're celebrating and honoring that. And it's this mystical time of year for Christians, and we recognize that the veil between the worlds is a little bit malleable right now. And so this leads me into the discussion of fairies. So this has been a topic that has interested me for quite a long time. I've been reading about it for a long time, consulting, even did some interviews for Magical Mystical Journeys podcast, had just a variety of ways that I've been connecting with this world. Now, this is not the same as connecting with angels. This is not the same as connecting with like your guides, your spirit guides. Fairies are created beings, if you believe in this stuff, which, you may be on the fence and that's okay. But fairies are created beings that live in their own realm. It is a huge realm. It's a really big world. We are not talking about Tinkerbell. We're not talking about beings that are created like to help you in the same way that we think about angels. We're not talking about beings that are part of your spirit team. They are their own created beings with their own free will, and they exist, we believe, in connected very much to nature in the world around us. Not every fairy is super friendly, and then some are. And so this is a myth that we want to bust as well. And so I see a lot of people that want to dive kind of full force into the world of fairy before getting completely equipped, completely educated. One way, and we talked about this in the Fairies 101 workshop that we had about a week ago, but one way that a lot of us can connect really easily and safely with the world of fairy is by connecting with elementals. And elementals are the spirit, the energy, the beings that help govern the natural world. So we might have a tree elemental or grass elemental or a petunia elemental. And just being outside in nature is very healing and a strong way to connect with elementals. And the more kind of advanced you get and the more guidance you have, you can begin to connect with the energy and with the individual personality of elementals in your journey. And those are a really beautiful bridgeway to the world of fairy. Keep in mind that, just like the human world, not every fairy is going to be super nice, super friendly, super amenable. So you definitely want to do your research before you begin to connect. But this is a natural time of year in the springtime for us who are Jesus followers, connected with Easter, with the Easter story, with this new life, with new resurrection. And that this is a natural time of year that we can begin that process of connecting. Why do this? Some of you are not going to have a choice. For some of you, fairies will decide that they like you and that they will be around. And so if you suspect that that's true for you, you need to get educated and you need to begin that process of connecting and doing it really safely as soon as possible. Some of you just might be so interested. This is a topic that won't leave you alone. You find that you have decorations that sort of seem fairy-like. This is something that's intrigued you for a long time. You connect naturally with the natural world. You're respectful of the natural world, and you want to see what's kind of behind the veil. So if that describes you, this is also a way that you can, a sign maybe that you should start to connect as well sooner rather than later. Those of you who are sort of terrified and you don't want to, you're terrified, or you're a little scared, and you've thought, is this okay for Christians? That's the question I actually want to address right now. Fairies have unfortunately been kind of mythologized in ways that we say they aren't real. So they have become a kind of like children's story that's become mythical, but not mythical in a healthy way. Mythical as in fanciful. So that's one way that actually a lot of people, including unfortunately Christians, have demoted fairies as being like not real. And I don't know why things for children aren't real anymore. That's just kind of silly to me. But that's one way. Another thing that has happened with fairies is that some Christians, probably well-meaning, have said that they are like, it's not really fairy, it's just a demon. They're demonic. And this is doing a great disservice to the fairy realm. So what has occurred to me over the past week or two of thinking about this is that as Jesus followers, we know that so many Jesus followers have done harm with this way of thinking, with thinking magically, with thinking metaphysically, with getting to know our colleagues and our peers in these different realms. And the more that we can heal that relationship and do that as followers of Christ, the better. Like, how amazing is that? And so I think that's another really wonderful reason to begin to connect with the fairy realm. For me, it wasn't optional. The fairy realm was, and still is, coming into my home, or maybe I'm in their home. I'm not really sure. And so for me, connecting with them, at least at the level of within my house, was absolutely necessary. Now that I live in Ireland, although I'm currently in Texas, but now that I live in Ireland, connecting with the Irish roots and my ancestral roots of relationship with the fairy world has become even more important. And so I'm learning to do this with great respect and great reverence, and also with protecting myself. Because like we said, not every fairy is necessarily going to be your best friend, but then some will. And so you have to be wise enough to discern the difference and to know how to approach this particular realm. So those are some different reasons why you might want to connect to the fairy world. Again, beginning with those elemental energies, which is really helpful. So one of the authors that I began reading several years ago as I was connecting with this is Morgan Daimler. And when we decided we wanted to do an episode for Magical Mystical Journeys with an expert, one of my, Andrea or Amy, I can't remember who, said, well, let's reach out to, there's someone named Morgan Daimler. Let's see if we can get Morgan. I said, we're never going to get Morgan. Morgan's like a big deal. Morgan said yes. And so since then, I have developed a really wonderful and warm collegial relationship with Morgan, who is an expert on fairy. And we offered a workshop last week, and we decided that we want to offer this three-week course on connecting with fairy. This is going to be specifically for Christians and also for pagans, because Morgan is a pagan. So it's an interfaith, wonderful way to begin the connection. So I'm going to be there. I'll be offering my 2 cents, my experiences. Morgan is the expert. They will show you how to connect safely with the world of fairy. I'm going to put the link in the comments below. And I see some questions coming in. I will answer those in just a moment. Hold on, I'm going to get the link for you. Here we go. Okay. So this will describe the whole course to you. We would love to have you. And you can check it out and see if it is for you. And so we will be leading you on this 3-week journey. It's going to be short, snappy, 90 minutes at a time. We're going to show you how to connect with fairies in your home, how to connect with fairies in the larger world, and then everything else that you ever wanted to know but didn't know to ask as well. And so every week you'll have some gentle opportunities and invitations to begin the connecting process. And then we can come back the next week, talk about whatever it is that you experience so that you can, you can begin to forge this relationship for yourself. And like I said before, I think the more Jesus followers are doing this kind of work, it is participating in healing the world. I think this also helps us shift from the mindset of humanity having dominion over the earth to stewardship with the earth. That is a huge mindset shift. But if we look at our role on the earth as being one creature, one being among many, and that we are all collectively responsible for the care of the earth, this is going to be an asset to you in cultivating that mindset and really, really continuing to hone that and honor your relationship to the earth as well. So I'm really, really excited about that and these moments of healing that are going to come about as a result of that. Okay, so like I said, this class is available. We're offering it at a really, really affordable tuition price right now. It's $147. You can pay that over 1 month or 2 months. If we do this in the future, it's going to be substantially more. So this is a pilot opportunity. And so get it on the pilot while you can, because this is one of the first times that it's the only time it's going to be offered in this particular way. And so there's all that information for you. So, hey, Angie, it's great to see you. Okay, so I'm going to go through and answer some of the questions that have come in. I can't see the very first one. Okay, can I address something about Jupiter and what it means for us? And I just can't see the very first word. I'm sorry, it's just like cutting off. So I actually cannot. I have to research that. So it's a great question about the planetary alignment. I just don't know the answer off the top of my head. I will see if I can do a little research on that. Okay, how do you know if a fairy is present with you? We're going to go over more of that in the class, but let me give you just a few examples. If things are going missing, so I'm going to start at the household level because that's going to be what's true for most of us. If you experience lots of things going missing and it seems a little playful, a little mischievous, maybe even like a little step beyond that, and you're not sure why, and it's happening repeatedly, and you can't attribute it to anything else, then that might be a sign that there are fairies present in your household and that you need to form a good relationship with them. If you naturally feel that there are elementals, personalities, beings maybe present in your yard, your garden, or like a nearby park that you go to if you're an apartment dweller, that's a good sign. If you just kind of naturally feel that intuitive connection. For people that have more kind of dramatic experiences with the fairy world, you may experience lost time. You may see a fairy in the form of a person or a fairy animal, and they seem very much part of this world, like they're going to be real. You can touch, see, feel, but you're going to sense a kind of otherness about them that you might not be able to attribute to anything. Beyond that, it gets a little more dramatic and not going to be this kind of standard experiences for everyone, but those are a good few examples. Stuff walking in your household, maybe seeing something that you sense is a little bit other, but you can't quite put your finger on it. And lost time, maybe if you have lost time, suppose you're trying to get home, you're walking home, it takes you 20 minutes longer than you think it did. That might be an example of the fairy realm being present with you. Okay, so those are good questions. Okay, I see one more. Okay, Taurus. Oh, about Taurus. No, I'm just so sorry. I don't know the Taurus Jupiter stuff off the top of my head. I'm sure there's people in the group who do, so they're going to be able to. I'll pitch that to the group for everyone. Okay, so yeah, so you think you may have encountered some fairies. Okay, so yep, this may be a good opportunity for you then. Would love to have you in the class if this feels resonant. So that's what's going on. Yeah, that's what's going on. So I love that at Easter we have this opportunity to just live into our new resurrected life all the time, just as Jesus followers. And those who want to kind of go the next step in getting to know the fairy world and really doing that as a person of faith, as a spiritual person, and doing it in a friendly interfaith way. Morgan and I are going to model what it looks like for pagans and Christians to talk to each other with respect and all having some common goals with different personal ways to get there. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Okay, everyone, I think that's it. You know how to reach me. You can put any comments in the comment thread, and I will do my best to answer them pretty quickly. And then other than that, you can always reach out to me via private message. Love you all, and we'll talk to you soon.